Former Vice President Kamala Harris is speaking out about her presidential campaign in her new memoir, which hit store shelves today. 107 Days details her dash for the White House following former President Biden's late decision to drop out of the race last July. In an interview with The View today, Harris revisited her appearance on that show in the final stages of the 2024 election. At the time, she said she would not have done anything differently from President Biden. Nearly a year later, though, here's what she had to say about that moment.
That day in that interview, for me, really was symbolic of the issue. It was not. It did not create the issue, but it was symbolic of the issue, which is that I'm a loyal person, and I didn't fully appreciate how much people wanted to know there was a difference between me and President Biden.
And CBS News Executive Director of White House and Politics, Fin Gómez, joins us now. Fin, very good to see you here. What are the key takeaways from her media tour so far?
Well, I mean, I want to go back to that comment that she made on The View. I mean, if you remember, Nancy, that moment she's referring to on The View, we know from her own book that it was really a defining moment, a bad moment from her short presidential campaign. We know from her book that some of her top advisors were urging her to distance herself from President Biden because of polling that showed that his approval ratings were tanking. She writes in her book that senior advisor David Plouffe told her bluntly at one point that, quote, people hate Joe Biden. So people around her were telling her that she needed to distance herself to be more palatable, if you will, to a greater general election voter, if you will, populace of voters. And so I think that's a key takeaway, I think, for this. And really the comments today really show that she acknowledges perhaps that this was a misstep. I mean, I think also, to me, the book also highlights the Veep stakes process, passing on Pete Buttigieg, the former transportation secretary, despite admiring him as her first choice, but that he would have been an ideal partner if he were a straight white man, saying that the country wasn't ready for a black woman and a gay man on a ticket. But, you know, she did kind of walk those comments back in these interviews today. And then another top contender, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, Harris called him great on the stump, but she worried that Shapiro wouldn't be unable to settle for a role as a number two. So a lot of key takeaways here. Really interesting, really hearing Vice President Harris for the first time on her failed attempt to gain the White House last year.
Yeah, very jam-packed 107 days at that. Fin Gómez, thank you very much.